Hello, welcome to the old Fliers. During a previous talk about actors who served in the military, the name Hedy Lamarr was mentioned. That prompted me to do some research, and I'm glad I did. Hedy Lamarr was born Hedwig Eva Maria Kiesler in Vienna in 1914. There she won a beauty contest at the age of 12 and showed early interest in acting and theatre. She acted in 30 films during an acting career that spanned 28 years. She came to some notoriety in her film Ecstasy in 1933, in which she disrobed. Shocking for the time. This strikingly beautiful woman married a wealthy Austrian munitions manufacturer 16 years her senior, but left him in 1937 due to his over-controlling and overbearing nature. Her husband, Fritz Mandl, reportedly spent over $300,000 buying up and destroying copies of that film. Mandl had close social and business ties to the Italian government, selling munitions to the country, and, despite his own part Jewish descent, had ties to the Nazi regime of Germany. She accompanied Mandl to business meetings where he conferred with scientists and other professionals involved in military technology. These conferences were her introduction to the field of applied science. She left Mandl wearing every expensive piece of jewellery she possessed. She arrived in Paris, then onward to London, where she met Louis B. Mayer, head of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Studio, who offered her a movie contract and more. Mayer persuaded her to change her name from Hedwig Kiesler to distance herself from the ecstasy lady reputation. He billed her as the world's most beautiful woman. With the annexation of Austria into Nazi Germany in 1938, and being Jewish, she was happy to immigrate to America. There she acted with Hollywood's leading men. Dismayed by being typecast, Lamarr co-founded a new production studio in 1946 and starred in its films. During World War II, she dated Howard Hughes and offered to improve aviation designs for him by changing the rather square designs of his aeroplanes, which he thought looked too slow, to a more streamlined shape based on pictures of the fastest birds and fish she could find. Lamarr said Hughes actively supported her inventive tinkering hobbies. He put his team of scientists and engineers at her disposal, saying they would do or make anything she asked for. During World War II, Lamarr learned that radio-controlled torpedoes, an emerging technology in naval war, could be easily jammed and set off course. She conceived an idea and contacted her friend, composer and pianist George Antheil, to help her implement it. They developed a device by synchronizing a miniaturized player piano to generate radio signals. This radio guidance system for Allied torpedoes was intended to use frequency hopping spread spectrum technology to prevent jamming. Neither Lamarr or Antheil had formal training in science. Antheil was a composer. In his most famous composition for the film Ballet Mécanique, he synchronized 16 player pianos. So, if player piano rolls could activate piano keys, why couldn't they activate radio frequency in both torpedo and ship? Two miniature player piano rolls would start at the same moment and turn at the same speed. A ship and its torpedo could communicate on the same pattern of radio frequencies. The US Navy was scornful. Put a miniature player piano in a torpedo? Indeed. It was technologically difficult to implement, and the US Navy was not receptive to considering inventions coming from outside the military. The US Navy did not adopt Lamarr and Antheil's invention until 1957. She knew a good deal about munition and various secret weapons, and she seriously thought of quitting MGM and offering her services to the newly established National Inventors Council. Charles F. Kettering and other members told her she could better help the war effort by using her celebrity status to sell war bonds. Lamarr took up their suggestion and sold approximately 25 million worth of war bonds during a period of 10 days. Not bad for an enemy alien who wasn't as yet naturalised. She was naturalised in 1953. Their invention was granted a patent. However, that was seized by the US government as being the property of an enemy alien. At the time of the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962, an updated version of their design was installed on Navy ships. The technology was also used in drones and sonar buoys and high-level security communications. It is the basis for secure Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, mobile phone, that's cell phone to the Americans, GPS and military technology. The market value of this invention is an estimated 30 billion. In 1997, Canadian company Wyland signed an agreement with Lamarr to acquire 49% of the marketing rights of her patent, and this was her only financial compensation she received for her frequency hopping spread spectrum invention. In 1997, Lamarr and George Antheil were jointly honoured with the Electronic Frontier Foundation Pioneer Award. Also in 1997, Lamarr was the first woman to receive the Invention Convention's award known as the Oscars of Inventing. In 2014, Lamarr and Antheil were posthumously inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame for their frequency hopping spread spectrum technology. So, knowing all of this, why is her work too important to pilots? Bluetooth and Wi-Fi are so pervasive, it is no wonder it is taken for granted. You pick up the weather on an iPad, file a flight plan, and in the plane the iPad Wi-Fi syncs your flight plan to your glass cockpit. Your Bluetooth headset syncs to the radio and telephone. Later in the flight, when in range, you can collect the destination weather information, that's known as AWIS, on your phone, which you hear by Bluetooth over the headset. On commercial aircraft, you can make phone calls and use the internet. Navigation using GPS is now commonplace. Lamarr died aged 85 in the year 2000, gone but not forgotten. Today, if you Google Bluetooth, Wi-Fi or GPS, you will find no reference to Hedy Lamarr, though her work on spread spectrum was their genesis. Thank you for watching.